All right, so hedge fund replication. So just knowing some key terms like what alternative beta is obviously what a replication product is, trying to copy sort of a hedge fund strategy or or group of strategies. Here we sort of broadly identify what the benefits of hedge fund replication products are, essentially that is similar to other types of investments. You either want higher returns or you want reduced risk. And I would suggest knowing these different examples of hedge fund strategies that they give that fall into those two different categories. And then, as you know, of course, we look at two main approaches. One is the factor-based and one is the bottom-up or algorithmic approach. And then we sort of just mention the payoff distribution approach a little bit. And so essentially, the factor-based approach is trying to replicate the time series of returns. That means the return for return, it's trying to replicate a particular hedge fund strategy. The payoff distribution is just trying to replicate the distribution. So for example, if it was left-tailed, for instance, then it's trying to replicate a left-tailed distribution. That's the difference. And other differences. All right, so before we get to the replication piece, just a little sort of background on alpha and why it may be a good idea to try to replicate. I mean, many reasons why you might want to replicate these returns, but one is that essentially, they've identified that alternative investment funds have experienced a decline in alpha. So that's one sort of rationale. Just need to check something because this doesn't look right to me. Okay. Oh, sorry. While beta has increased, that should say, not decreased. So increased here. Okay, great. Oh yeah, I just saw a question. So yes, beta has increased over time. Thank you. All right, so I mean, obviously there wouldn't be a while here if they weren't opposite of each other, right? There's some issue there. So decreasing alpha, what are some of the hypotheses that try to explain why we've seen reduction in alpha for hedge fund returns? And then in terms of hedge fund replication products, you can kind of think of them as two categories. Either they provide a source of alpha or they're essentially providing a source of alternative beta as something like a convertible bond type index type strategy would provide. And then in terms of sort of just other than being risk diversifiers or return enhancers, there's some unique benefits, right, to replication products. And so you should definitely know what those are related to these replication products.